The CMMG Banshee includes AR pistols and SBRs, basically anything that's shorter than that 16-inch length required by the NFA. So this is going to get into some really fun stuff, and it is the absolute Wild West. The CMMG Banshee lineup is madness. You really got to go to CMMG's website and check out all the various options. They have chamberings, everything from 4.6 by 30, that's that MP7 round from HK, up through, you get into some of the really big stuff like 350 Legend, and you're getting it all in these really tiny packages, so these can really provide a lot of wallop in a very small setup. Some of the changes, though, that I want to talk about today are going to be some of the visual cues that you see first. They have really updated all of their lineup. Every one of their rifles and pistols looks different and has some different things about it, and I wanted to show that to you. As you look at these two images together, you'll see that the old model looks like just kind of a standard AR pistol, whereas the new one looks more like a unified whole. They've done a lot of work to figure out a new style for their receivers, and it's just a really cool look overall. You get these great lines running through, and it just feels like, instead of Tinker Toys like you get here with your average AR, where yeah, it's good parts put together and it kind of fits and everything sort of, you know, it looks nice together, but this one really feels like an entire rifle, everything all in one place at the same time. One of the things that I'd like to point out is that here on this Cerakote, you can still see quite a bit of shine. You can probably see a lot of specularity, a lot of light reflected back at you, and that's not going to be the case with the new Cerakote jobs on the new Banshees and Resolutes and all of those. They've done a really good job of keeping it much more matte. There's going to be a limited number of colors. Stormtrooper White is out. You cannot get white anymore. But the new colors that they have are going to be some for style and then some for camouflage. And I got to say that the camouflage ones, like the Midnight Bronze, are going to disappear into the background much better than they did in the past, just because of that limited specularity. You're not going to get any shine off those. The handguard up at the front is going to be lighter than the model that you see here. This is a nice light handguard. It has been in the past. I've always liked these, but they've done an even better job. They've milled out more material, and it has M-LOK still all the way around, good Picatinny sections, and in the end, yeah, you just end up with less weight, and it's going to be a nice kind of fit overall. If you want to do thumb over bore, you can do that. It's kind of a nice slim setup, and yeah, plenty of M-LOK capability, so if you want to be able to add lights and things, like I keep some Grove Tech Picatinny sections here on the side so that I can add either a sling using these sockets here, or add a laser light combo if I have to deal with a bump in the night. Under the handguard, we're sticking with pretty much the same kind of barrels. I don't think they've done anything to reprofile the barrels on the Banshee line. Maybe they have, but it didn't look like it when I was testing these at the CMMG Media Day. It looked like pretty much the same thing, and that means that you're going to get good accuracy out of these. It just seems to be a good profile overall. Some of these will be gas driven, some of these will be more blowback. Like this is actually a 5.7 by 28, and it's going to have that wonderful radial delayed blowback. So you're going to get radial delayed blowback on 9mm, 5.7, I think maybe on the 4.6 by 30. You can see which ones are available. What that means, though, is that you're going to have just a little bit more time in the chamber with the brass, instead of having straight blowback, where you tend to get a little bit harsher recoil back here, and the brass is being extracted while it's still kind of hot and filling the chamber. It's just going to have a little bit more time, a little bit more delay. It should be easier on your brass, easier on your chamber, and easier on your shoulder as well. If you're, I mean, it's not like 5.7 by 28 is anything really big, but I will say that this is a very mild shooting little pistol. It's really easy on my kid. He really enjoys shooting this. Some of the ways that this is easy for him to shoot, it's going to be this. This is the RIP brace on the back, and it does function like a nice little stock. It does have a short length of pull because, you know, it's an AR pistol setup. It's not an SBR or anything, so it doesn't have a lot going on, but it does have enough that he can get comfortable behind this. And yeah, it's really easy to get into position. This is a really cool setup for, you know, maybe a kid to shoot, and it's something that I think is really handy for self-defense, or, you know, kind of home defense. You can see that it's a small package overall. It's going to move really easily as you're moving around your house, around corners. You don't have to deal with a big long barrel that might bump into things or be something to grab. This is something that just kind of stays really close to you. But yeah, the current Banshee setup is going to continue with this rip brace back here. You're going to get more of the Magpul grip back here instead of the A2 that you see. So it's going to be actually the CMMG zeroed version. It's a lot like that Magpul grip that has more of a vertical setup, fits the hand really well, has a good palm swell to it. Moving up, the trigger, like I mentioned on the Banshee and the Endeavor, is going to be something less than it has been in the past. Most of the models that we've had from CMMG have had a Geissele, either a single stage or a two-stage trigger, and they tend to be pretty crisp and light, and what they've done is they swapped over to kind of a standard mil-spec trigger. If you like that security of a mil-spec trigger, okay, you're going to be happy. But like I mentioned with the others, if you want to get into a good trigger, I recommend that you set aside some budget, like 120 bucks. You can get the RA240, like I mentioned in the other videos. And yeah, you can get a good single stage or two-stage trigger. Some of the goodies and upgrades that we get on the redesigned Banshee are not only going to separate themselves from the rest of the market, but they're going to separate themselves from the older models of Banshee as well. One of them is going to be the safety. Instead of the standard 90-degree throw that you get, you're actually going to get a 90 and 60 position on safe and fire. So it's going to be a really quick throw, and you get a little bit of a smaller button. It's still very positive, and it's still ambidextrous, so it's going to be left and right, and that's going to be on all their models. You'll be able to really quickly flip between the different positions without having to go that full 90 degrees. And I think a lot of you guys are really going to enjoy that. Like this model that you see here, the barrels are going to continue to be salt bath nitrided. That's going to give them a longer service life, and it's going to help prevent rust and all kinds of other things. It has a nice matte black finish to it. You can kind of see it hanging out under the handguard. And it's just going to help you have a rifle or pistol in this case that's going to last quite a bit longer than even stainless steel. This should be a really good setup for a good long life for you. Thanks a bunch for watching, you guys. If you have any questions about the Banshee, you can leave them in the comments down below. I might know them or somebody else might. And yeah, as we start to get these more out into the market, I'm kind of curious to hear from you guys and see what you think. Thanks a bunch to patrons of the Destructive Arts for making this video possible. In the next video, we're going to talk about the new model, the Descent. And that is a real freak. I think you guys are really going to love it.
Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Even if you didn't like this particular content, go ahead and subscribe. There's probably something coming that's more up your alley. Check out this playlist right here. This is going to have videos in a similar vein to what you just watched. These two videos we cherry-picked for you. And finally, The Social Regressive is on Patreon. So you can become a patron of the Destructive Arts and earn some goodies while helping us to provide high-quality videos just by kicking us a few bucks a month. Thanks a bunch for your patronage.